Hi everyone, this is part 3 of my how to practice scales videos. This video covers the hardest exercises on my list and would be great for VCE, HSC and year 11 and 12 music students. So the first one is the table of time. The table of time is where you play one bar of each subdivision of a bar of music or of a beat. To demonstrate, the way I would do it is I'd play up and down my scale on repeat. I would start with crotchets, then I would play crotchet triplets, then I would play eighth notes, then I would play eighth note triplets, then I would play 16th notes, and then I'd go back down that list in the opposite direction. So I'll put on a metronome and give you an example of how that would sound. So that's the table of time. You probably notice it can seem pretty intense if you haven't tried something like that before, but it's a really great way to learn your subdivisions and really improve your timing. It's also quite a technical challenge for both hands. When I'm practicing the table of time, I would repeat it over and over, and that would mean that your starting point of the table of time ends up starting on a different note of the scale each time. And so that can be quite a challenge as well. But again, that's all part of the challenge. The next challenge is to change the beat that the metronome plays on. So usually when we use a metronome, we have it clicking on every beat. We can change the metronome so it only clicks on some of the beats. So something that's really common with jazz musicians is to set the metronome to only click on beats 2 and 4, because those are the beats of the bar that we emphasize. Okay, so I've set up a metronome clicking. Sounds like it's just clicking a slow tempo, but when I count along, I can make it so that I'm hearing these metronome beats as beats 2 and 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the beats 2 and 4 one is a really good place to start if you're feeling really confident playing along to your metronome on every beat. And then from there you can challenge yourself further if you like by putting the metronome on different beats or less beats of the bar. Going back to the concept of playing a scale in different sequences, another good sequence to play in, which is a little bit harder than thirds, is sixths. So again, that's playing the first note of the scale, then the sixth, then the second note of the scale, then the 7, and so on. So you can see when we play in sixths in one position, it means we have a lot of string skipping. So that can really challenge your right hand especially, and those big jumps again challenge your memory of the scale as well. So that's another really good technical exercise for those more advanced players. So the next exercise that you can try is playing your scales in 3 octaves, which means you need a position change, because if you've been playing quite a few scales already, you'll know that in one position you can only reach about 2 octaves. There's a number of places you can change positions along the way to reach that 3rd octave. There's a lot of ways to do it, but here's one example using the G major scale. So when you play a 3 octave scale, you're going to need to change positions at least twice. So something that'll help you to work it out if you don't have a copy written down is to use the scale positions that you already know for that scale. So if you know multiple ways of playing a G major scale across the neck, use those to figure out where your best position changes will be. Position changing can also be difficult to do fluently, so make sure the notes that are between the different positions are just as legato as the notes that are played all in one position, because we don't want to have that kind of staccato feel between the different positions. We want it all to flow, and that can be really challenging. So the next exercise is playing your scale in triads. So playing a triad from every degree of the scale. So that would be something like this. Okay, and you could continue it up the full position, or you could just do it in one octave like I did there. You can also play it descending. So again, this exercise really makes you think about the notes in the scale, and it can also teach you the different triads that are in the scale, which is really valuable, especially once you're onto improvising. So the last tip or exercise for learning your scales is to get creative with them, so improvising. So search on YouTube for a backing track in the key of the scale that you're practicing, and try improvising using the scale over that backing track. This is a really good way to actually understand what the scale sounds like in an actual musical context, and it gets you using your scale in a musical context. We're not learning our scales just to be able to play them up and down, ascending and descending. We want to be able to use them in a practical context. So improvising is one of those situations. I'm not going to demonstrate any improvising in this video, but I might upload some improv-based videos later on. Okay, that's all of my tips and exercises for practicing scales. I hope you've all got something out of that. Let me know in the comments if there's something that you do that I haven't put down in this list. I'm still playing around with the best way to shoot my videos, as far as where I set up the camera, where I put the mic, the different tools that I use in making them, and my approach to making them. So let me know what you liked about the video, what you think I could do better next time, because at the end of the day, I'm making these videos to help my students learn and practice better at home. So whatever's going to help you guys is what I want to do in my videos. Thanks again, leave me a comment, and I hope you like the video.